Well, hello, world. It's been a while, so I thought I would step in and say hi, see how everyone's doing. I hope that you and your family are healthy and starting to come out of this hibernation that we find ourselves in. Tonight, I want to talk about forgiveness. Now, before I talked about forgiveness, I was talking about forgiving yourself and the things that you've been through and holding things um, against yourself. But now I want to talk about forgiving others. As we're coming out of a pandemic that we just starting to ease out of, we've seen a lot of death. And we've seen a lot of our loved ones get sick and those around us get sick. And that's why it's important to be able to forgive, because we don't have no set amount of time on this earth. It takes more energy to not forgive somebody than to forgive somebody, because we got to harbor that hate. We got to harbor those feelings around. And then we try to avoid the people that we are not forgiving. And the biggest thing is it causes us stress in our life. Now, we have enough stress, absolutely enough, especially with what we just went through. But now, as we're maturing and growing within our life, we need to learn how to be able to separate our forgiveness and what somebody does wrong to make us not want to forgive them. A lot of times we hold something you give somebody for the most smallest reason, because maybe we just didn't see the same way they saw something and it caused a strife in our relationship. Or maybe just simply that our family member just did us completely wrong and I have a right to harbor those feelings. And you absolutely have a right to be hurt. But you also have a right to forgive. You have to see everything in a different light. I'm one of the biggest people that is hard to forgive others. I know how hard it is. I've done it all my life where I just held something against somebody and absolutely refused to forgive. I'm still struggling with forgiveness with the two men that did what they did to me years ago. But I'm getting there, because I know that weighs me down within my life. If we continue to just let everything pile up on us that somebody does us wrong, it's like weights that's added to your shoulder. It continues to weigh you down and drag you down to the point now you don't even know what's going on with you. But in reality, it's everything that you've done held against everybody else. It's a luggage that we keep dragging behind us every time we turn a corner. Every time that we finally in our heart can forgive somebody, that's a luggage cut loose. It's a weight cut loose. It's a stress that is cut loose and off our heart. Now, with forgiveness, I'm not saying that you have to completely pardon the person from what they have done to you. Yes, they've caused you harm and they've wronged you in probably many ways to make you not want to forgive them. But you can forgive them for you. And what I mean by that is just let them go with what they did. Don't have to hold it against them, but we can see what they are. We can see them from a distance. We know what they are, and at face value what they come with. But that gives you a protection, a barrier, because now you know. But you don't have to harbor those feelings against them. Now, I know this practice is easier said than done. All of us have had somebody that we just absolutely refuse to talk to and just don't want to forgive. But remember, in some of my talks, if you've listened to me before, I've always talked about lending a hand into the dark to somebody to pull them out, or the bricks that we build up around us because what life throws at us, so we build our walls up. All this is comes together in one, because one thing we all have to do as a human race and just in humanity period is bring down our walls so we can see others for who they are, to be able to help and see the things that people need help with. Because if we're so consumed with the people that did us wrong, we can never lend a truly helping hand to others. It's impossible, especially those of us that call ourselves Christians. If we're consistently not forgiving others and judging others, there is no way on this planet that you can call yourself a true Christian. Now, I know I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers with that, but it's a fact because Jesus forgave everybody. The Creator forgave everybody. Jesus died on the cross for a reason, for forgiveness. So if our Creator, the Creator that the man sent down to put on a cross, can forgive everybody in this world for what they have done, then how can we hold others responsible? How can we not forgive? Ask yourself that. A man died for you on a cross, and you still refuse to forgive somebody that may have said something wrong to you. That's something to talk about. That's just something to think about, food for thought. The reason why I wanted to talk to forgiveness is because I've seen a lot of death within the facility this year, especially with this pandemic just hit. And I started reflecting back on the relationships that I severed and refused to forgive because of the most pettiest reasons or because of my arrogance. And those are relationships that I probably will never get back or probably never can repair. And that's a regret that I'm always going to carry. Not because I wanted to, it's because I refused to forgive them for so long, they severed the relationship as well. So now there's just no repairing it. We can't get to that point. It's just point blank. It's one of them things that the older you get, the more valuable you're going to see your relationship with others are. And don't get to a point where it can't be fixed. Thank you for listening to me tonight. I hope that everybody is safe and well out there. And as you're easing out, continue to be safe, have fun, enjoy life, and remember to forgive.